The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmdit and Elijah Herbel.
Friday here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Chris Schmdit, Elijah Herbel, and you getting you ready for Nebraska and Boston College. Pinstripe Bowl, 11 a.m. Central, high noon, New York City time. Plenty to dive into with Nebraska and Boston College. We'll hear from head coach Matt Rule in just a little bit as some final thoughts with his presser earlier today. Some good news if you're a Nebraska fan when it comes to some opt-outs with Boston College. How will that affect/ease concerns tomorrow? 489-1240 to get in. 800-825-5865. I've missed you, and it's only been a couple of days. Got to knock a little rust off, Elijah. How we doing? How was Christmas? How was the holiday? We have all sorts of games to pick from tonight, tomorrow, beyond for the infamous Hail Varsity Parlay. This will be our third swing at it. Was able to cash some tickets a little bit earlier and take care of dinner tonight, brother. How you doing?
Good. How about we had a great night of college football last night? Rutgers and Kansas State was fantastic.
What a finish with the Kansas State and Rutgers. Rutgers has got to be sick about it, being up double digits most of that game. And here comes the Fighting Wildcats from the Little Apple to steal that one. And then, of course, Pitt doing what Pitt does. That's fade in overtime.
And then the nightcap, I know it didn't have like the headlines. Bowling Green and Arkansas State was another fantastic back and forth football game. It was a lot of fun to watch too. So last night kind of felt like bowl season of old where teams actually cared. You had back and forth football games, even matchups. Last night was fun. We hope we have more action of the same tomorrow and today. Christmas was great. Got to spend some time with some family. I've seen plenty of friends who've been back in town for the holidays, so no complaints there. But we're back to work. Nebraska plays tomorrow, and doesn't get any better than that. Nebraska's playing in late December. How about that?
That is outstanding, and that's kind of the theme today when we talk about the Pinstripe Bowl and what 7 wins means, what you look like tomorrow if you're Nebraska, and quite honestly, kind of a glimpse into 2025 on both sides of the football. Can find us. We're streaming for you. Hail Varsity YouTube channel, Hail Varsity Twitter as well, different platforms. And of course, you hear us across the Hail Varsity Radio Network. Can email Chris at hailvarsity.com and dial us up as well. We'll check in with Brian Christopherson. He is in New York City with Husker 24/7 Sports. So BC in about 15 minutes. In hour 2, the Pride of Fairbury, Bill Doleman, is en route to SEC country. We'll check in with the Pride of Fairbury at 5. Jacob Padilla with Hurrdat and Hail Varsity at 5:25. And then Clausborne, he's infamous. He wears red. He's imaginary. And we will have our Friday forecast picks tonight and into the weekend with some of the bowl games. And, of course, our Nebraska and Boston College picks. So a lot to dive into. We invite you out here to Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Amerisports Book and Bar is where we are set up here just outside. Ann and Kurt, God love them. They dropped by some pen play betting sheets. So I have kind of studied mine. You've got Syracuse, A&M, and SC tonight. Of course, Nebraska tomorrow, Iowa, Missouri tomorrow, BYU and Colorado tomorrow, and then Iowa State, Miami. Of course, we talk the second round of the playoffs with Penn State, Boise State, Texas, ASU, Oregon, Ohio State, and the NFL slate. So
I have some thoughts.
Goodness going on.
I have some thoughts. Before we dive too deeply in, Schmitty, we go to the phone lines here.
All right. Who is with us?
I'll give you a guess, Schmitty.
Steve, welcome in to get us kicked off. It's not our final show of the new year, but we're getting close to it. What do you know?
Well, thank you so much, Chris and Elijah. I know you guys have a lot of ground to cover, so I'll be brief and short. First off, great programs in the last couple of days featuring past guests from your show, to include Mike Leach. Some really great past shows, and listening to Mike Leach being interviewed by you guys was number one. Number two, for those Pinstripe Husker fans attending the Pinstripe Bowl, my third and final restaurant recommendation. Are you ready, Chris?
We have a pen in hand.
Okay, here we go. In Times Square, it's called Ellen's Stardust Diner. Ellen's Stardust Diner for breakfast. It's a great place. Great place to eat at. And Husker fans, in my opinion, won't be disappointed. And finally, our beloved Husker football team, we need to win. What say you, Chris?
They got to win and get off on the right foot. We'll have our predictions here around 5:40, Steve, with the Friday forecast. We'll get rolling on it. But Steve has given you the breakfast spot tomorrow, or maybe the breakfast spot on Sunday before you head home from the Pinstripe Bowl. Ellen's Stardust Diner. He says get to Cat's Delicatessen. And, of course, get that T-bone, that infamous T-bone he was talking about. Steve, enjoy it. Cheer hard tomorrow. Appreciate you listening, man. Thank you much.
Thanks, Chris.
Take care. Appreciate it. Yes. We love doing the best ofs. Appreciate you, Elijah, for getting those knocked out. But, yeah, from Michael Franzese to the old pirate, our dear friend, we miss him, Mike Leach. It was good stuff. Hopefully you caught some of that. We'll get our starting 5 shout-outs going. We'll dive a little deeper into the nuts and bolts of this Pinstripe Bowl. But really, it is about feel and vibe, right? You have done so much shifting as a program into year 2, end of year 2, Elijah, with Matt Rule making the change for offensive coordinator, Mr. Tony departing to Florida State, pot roast taken off to Florida State. You've got hires pending. You have hires made. And it is showtime and really an unveiling here, an unveiling of kind of what year 3 won't be defined as, but it'll be kind of your memory going into your last impression going into spring ball and preceding that winter conditioning for this team. You want, as a Nebraska fan, if you're a Nebraska fan, to feel good about where the program's headed. I think you do with Matt Rule's ability to communicate, ability to be on top of things. I think you feel really good about where you're at as a program with 1890, your ability to compete in the NIL world, your ability to really have positive headlines in the offseason, but you're ready for results on the field. And step 1, after 2 full seasons, is on display tomorrow at 11 with your 5-star quarterback, with some guys that came back to send this program and their final hurrah out in the right way with Nash and Ty Robinson. Nebraska's not had but one really opt-out in Nayor, and Tommy Hill is also shutting her down. That's fine. You have a bunch of wide receivers I'm anxious to see. I'm anxious to see some young pups like Keelan Smith. I'm anxious to see more from Lloyd. I'm anxious to see if Thomas Fidone can, maybe make this an exclamation point for him as he goes out with a big-time bang, and maybe he gets some better NFL draft grades back if he should come back. Incredible if you're a Nebraska fan, if he has a day to remember tomorrow in New York. Maybe that propels him onto the NFL. That's something to think about. But more so, this offensive line, Dylan Raiola, Emmett Johnson back. And I'm really anxious to see this defense under John Butler. You are going to see a boatload of eye candy shifts and the ability to try and establish a run game from Boston College tomorrow. Is Nebraska get fooled? Are they disciplined? And are they able to be as stout as they need to be against a run team in Boston College? That's my first and major question, because they're going to win tomorrow if they win tomorrow with their defense.
Yeah, and it starts with the defense, with how much Boston College wants to run the football. You said a little bit earlier, it's a game that Nebraska needs to win. I'd go as far as say it's a game Nebraska should win if they can go in and handle business. There are some unknowns. John Butler being elevated to DC. Nebraska going through bowl prep without a defensive line coach. John Butler kind of pulling double duty with secondary and being a defensive coordinator. Like, these are all things Matt Rule talked about as being challenges that they've had to face here through bowl prep. Not to mention the fact you've lost a lot of guys defensively to the transfer portal, that their replacements aren't going to be playing in this football game. But you also have a lot of senior leadership on that defensive side of the football that's going to be coming back and that wants to win a bowl game. You have Boston College on the flip side of things. Their quarterback Castellanos into the transfer portal. We know now that they have two premier players, an offensive tackle and an edge rusher, both of whom are not going to be playing in this football game. Like, to me, it comes down to, if Nebraska can slow down Robichaux, the incredible running back, they should be able to go win this football game. And kind of the team I compare Boston College to with how they're currently comprised. Like, they have some playmakers, they have a physical defense, they have a physical offensive line, a fantastic running back. It kind of feels like the same things we were talking about with that Rutgers game about 2 months ago.
Absolutely.
Where we talked about, hey, if you can slow down Monangai, you give yourself a fantastic opportunity to win. Nebraska, after a dicey first quarter, slowing him down, really just absolutely had him in a chokehold for quarters 2 through 4. Nebraska goes on to win that football game. That's kind of how I feel about this Boston College team. Slow down Robichaux. Keep that Boston College team off the scoreboard by doing that, because if they have to turn to throwing the football around, I don't think that's a formula for success for Boston College, and you should be able to go run them out of the building. Like that's honestly how I feel with Nebraska's offense, especially what we saw at the end of the season with Dana. Dana's got a couple more weeks of prep to do. Slow down Robichaux, give your offense an opportunity, and I think you can go win this game by multiple scores. But it's a big if, because Boston College loves running the football. They have a physical offensive line, and they've been able to run the football on a lot of teams this year, but they also haven't played a Big Ten front seven like Nebraska has this year with Ty and Nash in the middle. That's going to be a tall task for their offensive line.
This is Nebraska's strength, is Ty and Nash, clogging the middle, setting the edge, linebackers doing their thing. And you've had 2 weeks of prep on offense, but you've hopefully had 2 weeks of getting ready for a physical team. You've been challenged throughout the year with Big Ten football and having to show up Saturday ready with a physical offensive line and run game in a lot of instances, specifically Iowa, specifically Rutgers that come to mind. And I mean, you better not be a team that gets beat by Grayson James tomorrow, right? I mean, it can't be 2nd and 2 and you get dinged on play action, because that's what Bill O'Brien wants to do. You got a break with Ezeraku tapping out, not to look past the 3 other defensive linemen, but this guy's a first rounder. This guy's a game wrecker. This guy, you just listen to Matt Rule's comments the last week and a half leading up to this game. There is concern in his voice, all right? And I completely understand it. We'll take more of your calls. We're here till 6. Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. We have crossed the river. We invite you out. Hail Varsity Roadshow Live Friday here, 4 to 6. We're at Ameristar just outside Amerisports. And Brian Christopherson will check in from the Big Apple here in a moment. Let's get our starting 5 shout-outs. Justin is in first. Good to have you, Justin. Arlo, thanks for checking us out here on Hail Varsity Radio, Hail Varsity YouTube. Black Hills Brennan is in. Says happy Pinstripe Eve. Uncle Larry is in. No pressure tomorrow. Let's just watch. Jeff Snitley is in. Part of the Boulder Peace Treaty. And says it's nice to hear the DN deciding to sit one out. QB1 Ace is here. Good to have you. Andrew checks in. Andrew, good to have you. Mike and Callie. Anonymous is here. Anonymous says next year the playoffs, maybe. Anonymous says, or maybe a coaching search. It's a little quick for me, Anonymous. Shane says getting ready for the game tomorrow. Mr. Erickson is here. Jeff says hello. NASCAR Eric, good to have you. Carl, not that Carl, but Carl Pence is here, says Big Red 41-0 tomorrow. Carl, it'd be cool if you're right. Walter is in. Walter, just south of Philly, has a couple suggestions on who to leave in New York on Nebraska's coaching staff. Cliff out in Florida. Mike, good to have you, Mike. Appreciate you checking us out. And more of your comments. Patrick is here. Wrestling Oranges is back, along with Scott. Rule of the Day is here. So we are here today at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Tomorrow, the weekend edition, Hail Varsity YouTube, 7:45-ish, as we'll take you, well, for probably an extended while before kickoff at 11 tomorrow. And Real Red Reaction also tomorrow gets going about 2:30. So we need the input. Doug checks in, says, hola. Doug, good to have you. Andy is here too. So along with Brian Snitley, the Snitley boys are well represented. Rodney, make that to Ronnie is here. But we need your input too on that third leg. Is this the third leg or the fourth leg of the Hail Varsity parlay?
Sorry, third leg.
So what?
This is the third. Can we say third iteration instead of third?
Yes.
Leg? Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. What? It's the third leg of the Hail Varsity parlay. Wow, Elijah. Brian Christopherson going to join us from the Big Apple. Hail Varsity continues.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Hurrdat Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
For eligible individuals 18 and older with self-perceived mild to moderate hearing loss only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
Life without hearing aids can be frustrating.
Andy, did you hear what she just said?
No, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
I said I got the promotion, Dad. I thought you would be excited.
You're missing out on the important moments of your life because you just can't hear them. It's time to try the Jabra Enhanced Select 500, our smallest, most advanced hearing aid. With proprietary speech clarity technology, even the most complex listening situations like a noisy restaurant are crisp and clear. And you can get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional care you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. Get Jabra Enhanced over-the-counter hearing aids and stop missing the important moments. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhanced.com/radio. That's JABRA Enhanced.com/radio. JabraEnhanced.com/radio.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Learn more at Viking.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Jerry Adler had their kitchen remodeled by 3-day Kitchen and Bath and talks about the experience.
If we had only met Darren when we started doing this construction, I would have been a lot happier girl than I am now. My husband, when he heard the 3-day kitchen and bath would be in 3 days and out in 3 days, did not believe me.
Did he change his mind?
When he saw that 3-day kitchen and bath came in and was gone in 3 days, he found that that was the best experience we have had. Darren worked with us on our budget so that we could have the kitchen we needed without feeling like we were completely out of our league. They were professional, cared about the other part.
Hail Varsity Radio is live. Now, back to Schmdit.
Schmidt's a great guy, but he don't have a brain.
And Elijah.
You want me to speak? We're not pointing you yet.
On Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with your Road Show Friday. It's Hail Varsity. We're here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Chris Schmdit, Elijah Herbel, right outside Ameris Sportsbook and Bar. So I got a late text from Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 Sports. He is on the subway. He is traveling. Do we have him? Wow. BC, are you good, brother? Or are you in the midst of a mass of thousands? Thanks for jumping in. How are you?
I'm good. I'm on the subway right now, if you can hear me.
I got you. How is the subway? Entertaining?
It is. We're headed to Brooklyn. We're found a pizza spot at an establishment, and Bruns is holding my hand as we go through New York.
You have to have a buddy to stay safe on the subway in New York, I think.
Yeah, hopefully we avoid anything dramatic here.
Well, Brian, as we speak to you here, if there's only one question we can ask you, so we understand subway system, don't know how the connection is going to be. One really important question I need to ask you. There's rumors flying around. You have the same initials as Boston College, BC. Do you care to comment on any potential allegations that could come flying in because of that?
He threw his phone out and it's now being run over by said subway. He has no comment. So what we're going to do.
Read into that as you will.
Yes. So that was a great question. He disliked the question. And we're going to let him travel to Brooklyn with Brunsey. And if he texts back and is available later, wonderful. If he is not, we will say thank you for the effort. And we'll catch up with him next time. So God love him.
And to be fair, on a subway in New York City, you probably shouldn't be doing a radio interview because you need to be aware of.
And I said, we'll give it a shot. If it's brutal, we can punt.
Well, no, it's probably best for all parties because you got to be aware of your surroundings on the New York City subway. You got to be prepared. Anything can happen,
Yeah, we'll just tell him to take care, and we'll try and connect another time. So, but thanks to BC for at least answering. And here's the thing.
I like how we just got a little mini update into Brian's trip to New York City, and that was it.
So the tone of his voice, though, said what to you? Was he going full "don't mess with me"? Was it a little fear? And it's okay. I mean, I have never been really to the East Coast. I've been to Virginia. That's it. But I've not been to New York, and I've not been to New York. Scott says someone jacked his phone on a New York subway to Brooklyn. God love him. Well, appreciate him and Brunsey. We'll get caught up with them again. But Brian says, are they getting hazard pay for riding the subway / covering the bowl game in New York? I don't know. I haven't gone down that route yet. We'll dive into some more of your comments and questions. Eat Beef is checked in as well. But we'll hear from Matt Rule and Coach Bill O'Brien here in a little bit. But no, Brunsey with those Brunsey is imposing with those the glasses, and Brunsey is a good dude, but stare right through you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that anyone's going to come up and hassle the crew from Husker 24/7 Sports, either Brian Christopherson or Michael Bruns. I don't know that I would mess with Bruns. If Bruns sees to kind of tilt his hat sideways and give you some crazy eyes. So yeah, he is apologizing. He's all good. 489.
Go to the phone lines here.
Okay, who do we have?
Rich is on with us.
Rich, how's it going? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, send him a text. See, he's probably under the East River right now. I don't know whether he's on the E train or the F train, or it depends upon which train he's on, but more than likely he's under the East River. And then once he gets over to the other side, he'd be able to, to talk to you. But a text might get through. The other thing is, I don't know how many people is with him. He should ride in the middle car where the conductor is at. Do not ride in the last car. That's the party car. And the first car where the engineer is at, he's not coming out if something happens. He will radio in. But the best two cars to ride in is those two middle cars where the conductor goes back and forth. but do not ride in the last car. That's the party car, and anything can happen.
Rich, I got to ask, when you say party car, what's the craziest thing within the FCC guidelines you've seen in the party car before?
Anything that can come to your imagination.
Okay. I've got a pretty good imagination. It's one train, I'm told, or the L train is what he's told. So he is safe and sound. And again, Brunts will give the crazy eyes and people will leave both of them alone. So Rich, you're the native New Yorker. We have your call from the Iowa game that has reached legendary status. Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling no, you were great. Are you feeling okay about tomorrow?
I had too many adult beverages at that time.
No, you're good. Are you feeling good about the Boston College Nebraska matchup tomorrow, Rich?
Yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I know they can do it. That's the problem. The problem is I know they can do it, but they don't know they can do it.
No, confidence thing for sure. Rich, have you ever had to protect your seat or your territory on the subway? Has anyone ever messed with Rich on the subway before?
Usually I'm able to spot it ahead of time. I'll give you a quick story. I don't remember which train I was on, and the doors had opened up. And when the doors opened up, 3 guys stepped in all at the same time in the same movement. As soon as the next stop came up, I got off. Now, I don't know if it's coincidental or whatever, but you have to constantly be vigilant 360 degrees as to what is going on. You wear sunglasses so you don't eye lock with people. You keep earphones in your ears though you're not listening, so you can pretend you can't hear what people are saying, and you're constantly watching. It's a constant vigilance thing. And that's why when things happen, it's usually the tourists that get hurt. It's not the native New Yorkers. And the sad thing is so many of the native New Yorkers don't tell the tourists, hey, watch out. They just let it happen and just keep on going.
Wow. So it's kind of like the scene out of Devil's Advocate where someone pulls a knife on Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino's got to step in and save the day.
Yeah, something like that. And it's, if I ever get a chance to meet you, I'll show you the scar I got on my right forearm from fighting a guy with a machete when I was 16. But that's a whole nother story.
What? Hold on. Machete fighting, was that on the subway?
No, that was in my neighborhood right by LaGuardia Airport.
Okay. Well, Rich, we'll take a picture of the machete scar. So it's truly, you should see the other guy in this instance. I like it. Rich, you take care. Appreciate the phone call.
Hey, go Big Red one of these days.
All right. I hear it. There he is. Rich calling us with Subway 101.
That was that might go on to the Hail Varsity Call-In Hall of Fame right there.
Well, I just hope, I don't know that the connection was great, but from a streaming standpoint, Hail Varsity YouTube, Brunsey and of course Brian Christopherson, BC, maybe were listening or are listening or watching the show, and they now know to when they jump on the subway home to have earbuds and sunglasses on, to not eye lock and make eye contact. This has taken a left turn from Nebraska Boston College breakdown. We'll get to Matt Rule in probably about 4 minutes or so, but that was angelic with Rich and his advice on, well, yeah, the New Yorkers really don't give the tourists a heads up. Just got to sit and watch it happen.
Here's some yahoo doing a radio interview on this subway.
Yeah.
It's not warning about the 3 guys that just jumped on there.
I imagine Brunsey and Brian Christopherson are kind of dressed up like Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy from Coming to America, just to blend in with the other New Yorkers. One of them's in Mets gear, the other's in Yanks gear, one of them's in Jets gear, one of them's in Giants gear, and they've got all the I Love New York buttons on. So away we go.
It was funny to hear Rich say like realistically, as if they're heading out to Brooklyn, they're probably under the East River, because that is much better than being in the East River Soprano style.
Thank you. So Walter checks in when we're talking here, this Hail Varsity parlay. Get your picks in for us, as we'll lay some heat down here at Amera Sports Book and Bar before we say goodnight. So Walter says, interesting stat with this cover 3 pod. So Boise State's D is dead last, 134th in missed tackle rate at 20%. Wow. Does anyone know who their defensive coordinator is? I do. We like Chins. We're happy Chins is doing well, and they're in the playoff. So away we go. Big Red Junkies. What's up, fellas? How you doing? They are checking in. He is excited. Bummed I was unable to make it across the river this afternoon. Curious why the mustache is back in studio. So Elijah's back in studio because Justice is home for the holidays.
Mm-hmm. And Schmidt's also home for the holidays right now.
Yeah. I'm at the sports book. Yeah, exactly.
Home for the holidays.
Yep. Tim is here. Tim, good to have you. Brian, yeah. So we'll get to some comments from Matt Rule, Bill O'Brien, but the biggest concern is really, to me, tomorrow, and this kind of goes back to Walter's comment, it is going to be missed tackles, right? It is yards after contact. We know what Boston College wants to do. We know what Boston College in their wins has been able to do, and that's run for 200 yards. I mean, they went off against Syracuse to the tune of 300 yards. They ran for 2 Bills over an island to start the year. They were within 10 points SMU. That's been their only loss in the month of November. They're 3-1, and now a little bit discombobulated with a couple of key tap outs, and we'll see what their quarterback can do in the run game. Kobe is here. Good to have Kobe in as well. 489-1240. If you have a machete story, you're welcome to share it. Rich, appreciate him checking in. Hail Varsity here at Amera Sports Book and Bar, Ameristar, Council Bluffs Casino, as we roll forward in hour 1.
New year, new cash is coming to KFOR. You could win $2,025 to start off 2025. Get ready to win beginning New Year's Day on KFOR.
Well, hello, neighbor. From Super C Convenience Stores, your go-to stop for refreshment and energy drinks. Super C has all your favorites: Monster, Ghost, C4, Red Bull, Celsius, Bang, or Prime, and Oxy Shred. Whatever gets you going, Super C has all your energy drinks. Plus, with Super C Rewards, you get double points on Thursdays with the purchase of a 16-ounce energy drink. Swipe and save every day with Super C Rewards, available in the Google Play and Apple Store. Super C, where they're always happy to see you rewarded.
Another year of KFOR's Operation Santa Claus is finished, and it wouldn't have been possible without your generosity. Thanks to your support, we brought the magic of Christmas to less fortunate children in Lincoln. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our partners who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make it all happen. Local social service agencies for gathering the children's wishes. Hobbytown, Lincoln Children's Museum, and Shields for their help with toy shopping. Target, not only for assisting in shopping, but also for donating the sacks we use to organize the toys. The Clay Smith family for providing the North Pole facility to store and sort the toys. Brent Stellick of Bryant, Cott & Associates PCCPAs for managing Operation Santa finances. And most importantly, a very special thank you to the Nebraska National Guard volunteers for their incredible effort in sorting and distributing the toys. And finally, to everyone who donated, you are the true heroes of Operation Santa Claus. From all of us at KFOR, we wish you and your family a joyous holiday season.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car car, at work, or with your kids, no matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
New year, new cash is coming to
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you. It's Hail Varsity. We're here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, Ameris Sportsbook and Bar. What's your first name? Jacob, good to see you. Jacob's asking me live betting, second half, Vandy or Georgia Tech. Vandy's got the lead, and the live bet option is just through the old gates, as they say to my right. The line is -2.5 Georgia Tech overall. I kind of like Vandy. That's two good football teams right now that they're better than their record. Georgia Tech at 7-5, Vandy at 6-6. Vandy's quarterback's pretty good. I like the running game with Georgia Tech. I'd stick with Vandy, but again, not my money. So there we go.
And we got Texas A&M tonight with USC.
I kind of like A&M.
Give me SC +3.
Okay, Elijah wants SC in the points. Isn't SC a mess? I mean, they leave Lincoln Riley on the tarmac, don't they? If they don't win this.
But what did we learn last weekend? The SEC's overrated, Schmdit, and
the SEC's apparently overrated. So, well, go put it out and let me know how it goes. Have a good one. Thank you. All right, we might roll with A&M. I'm gonna get a nasty letter. Andrew says Nebraska, UConn, Miami,
and then Louisiana Lafayette.
Okay,
the Raging Cajuns.
BYU over Colorado. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not sure I'm with those. Big Red Junkies, I think. He's got Nebraska, UConn, the Raging Cajuns down in Louisiana, Miami, Miami of Ohio, East Carolina, Colorado, and Army.
So Black Hills Brennan says hammer the overs for sure. Black Hills Brennan, are you talking Nebraska and BC overs or no? I have heard back from Brian Christopherson on the subway, says we made it off the L unscathed. That is glorious. This sucks. Greg Gumbel passing away.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, Bill Doleman with us coming up here at 5. The Pride of Fairbury has, I think, bumped into Greg Gumbel from time to time in their career doing Olympic coverage. So let's hear – go ahead.
But before we get to Matt Rule quickly, do you have a feeling – because are we doing a 3-legger or a 4-legger with this parlay?
I think we pick 4, don't we?
Pick 4. Do we include the Nebraska-Boston College game, or do we stay away from it in the name of journalistic integrity?
No, we go all in. we go all in, my friend, on that. Let's hear from Matt Rule. Great to be with you here. Roadshow Friday here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Weekend edition tomorrow at 7:45 a.m.-ish Central Time, as we'll get you ready for Nebraska BC tomorrow as they kick off at 11. All right, the money has been put down. Okay, he took A&M -2. Good luck. God bless. So there's the Fighting Trevs. There's a fan in the building for them. Let's hear from Matt Rule.
Wait, we just got a tweet in from Jed saying, not a machete story, but I did have a guy randomly walking down Leavenworth with a scythe on his shoulder, Grim Reaper style, while I was delivering mail.
A what?
A scythe? Cutting grass.
Right. Yeah, the wheat harvester.
Yeah.
Right? The Grim Okay. So that isn't a machete, but that might be a little more frightening than a machete.
Well, those scythes, they're razor sharp. They're like that can do some damage.
And if someone's using a machete on you, you pray it's razor sharp as well. Because if it's dull, it's going to hurt longer, I would guess. I've thought this through. I've watched too much Dexter over break. Okay, let's hear from Matt Rule, the scouting report on BC from Nebraska head ball coach Matt Rule.
Well, I mean, I think when you watch them offensively, you know, they can run the football as well as anybody. They're physical, tough. They create alignment, you know, concerns with their use of tight ends and formations and edges. And so they can run it on a day that could be wet and cold. You know, obviously that's a good recipe for winning. You know, they consistently win turnover battle, and which is probably the number one factor in winning football games. And then, you know, defensively, I mean, they're excellent pass rushers. They're physical. They're tough. So, you know, I think obviously when you see that football team, you think of, you know, Coach O'Brien, who he is. I think they're a mirror image of him. It's a really good matchup for us in terms of testing us to see where we're at.
So that was Matt Rule, scouting rundown. How about the opt-outs from Boston College? Here's Bill O'Brien, head ball coach for BC.
No, I would say that Donovan and Ozzie Trapillo will not play in the bowl. Those guys are great captains for us, did a great job this year. That, you know, they're getting ready for the NFL draft. They'll be here at the game, but they won't play in the bowl. Relative to the rest of the guys, I mean, you'll just have to wait and see, you know, who we get out there. But you know, those guys, you know, they did an incredible job for us at Boston College. They were captains. Ozzie's, you know, comes from a great BC family. Donovan broke the single season sack record. So we wish them the best. Like I said, they'll be here to support us tomorrow, but they won't be playing in the game.
So that's a tough blow for Boston College. You'll take it and run if you're Nebraska. How about Rule on the importance of getting a win, cut 4?
Oh, I mean, I think it's really, really important. You know, I mean, you know, kind of like you said, you know, that's one part of it. I think also for our guys, like, we're playing an excellent football team, you know, and so to do that, we'd have to play well, and to take all the practices that we've done and go out there and play well. I mean, that's, you know, that's what we're working at right now. You know, our team knows how to practice. They know how to work. We're still figuring out how to win. And so playing an excellent team like Boston College gives us another chance to do that.
So that is Rule on the importance here. John Butler, that new role for him. Let's sneak in John Butler, cut 5.
It's been a lot of work for him, you know, in that he's, you know, coaching the secondary along with a couple of our young guys. It's been without a D-line coach this month. You know, it's been, you know, I started off kind of doing it in Indy, you know, going back to my roots, and then Phil Simpson came in to take the edges and has been taking the D-line, and Ira Lewis, our graduate assistant, you know, has done a fantastic job. But I think for John, you know, building a staff, doing the transfer portal, recruiting constantly, getting ready for the game plan wise, and then also just, again, being down a few coaches. I just think he's just had to work more. And but I know he's excited for it. He's excited for this opportunity to be our coordinator.
So, last thought, time or not for early enrollees? Can we sneak that in? Yep. All right. Here's Matt Rule on those early enrollees and the bowl practices.
They were not able to practice until school was over here. So that was Saturday the 21st, and they had to go through like that acclimatization phase. So they haven't done everything, but they've done, in terms of on the field, but they've done a lot. And I think it's been a great opportunity for them. Obviously, being here, being around the team, being in the meetings, I mean, it's a jump start to their career. Having a chance to meet the guys, I'm sure, you know, get to know them better, and being part of all the trips that we've done. You know, when you think about it, in 1 week, we've taken our team to practice at the Giants. We've taken them to a Knicks game, and they're here obviously at Yankee Stadium, you know, 3 iconic franchises in pro sports at the height of professional sports. And so those freshmen, you know, what a way to start college.
That is Matt Rule. Press conference earlier today. Hail Varsity live here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. We're winding down this first hour. Bill Doleman coming up here next hour. Friday forecast with Claus next hour.
Roper & Sons has been serving generations of families for over 120 years.
I'm Dean Schneider, a funeral director and co-owner at Roper & Sons Funeral Home. We are proud to be locally owned and operated, serving Lincoln since 1901. What sets us apart is our commitment to providing every family the compassion and care they deserve. We personalize each service to help you celebrate the most important aspects of your loved one's life. Roper & Sons, because every generation tells a story.
Throughout your life, Mom empowered you. She helped you grow and flourish. She always seemed to know just what to do, and she still does. Age doesn't take away our wisdom, it enhances it. Empower her to continue to embrace her independence and well-being in a community where each day can be as carefree and fulfilling as the last. Legacy Retirement Communities. Schedule a tour today by calling 402-436-3000 or online at legacyretirement.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Trust is a foundation of any strong relationship. It's earned every day.
At 1011, it's the way we cover the community we call home.
Working hard to fact check, verify, and get the story right.
It means alerting you first to severe weather and preparing for what's ahead.
It's telling the stories that bring us together and make us proud to be Nebraskans.
Trust Cole Miller, Madison Pitch, Chief Meteorologist Ken Shumick, and Sports Director Kevin Suits. The most watched, the most trusted. That's 1011.
This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. Over the past 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities, dignitaries, and individuals worldwide. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star and give the ultimate Christmas gift. The star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time this hour, it's Hail Varsity Roadshow Friday, getting you ready for Nebraska, Boston College. We're here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino across the river. Appreciate you coming by and saying hi. Carl asked if BC made it out okay of the subway. And BC is now in Brooklyn with Brunsey. That is cool. Moonbot's checked in on the stream. You're invited to check out, like, and subscribe. Hail Varsity YouTube, Hail Varsity Twitter, at Hail Varsity. Follow that along. The digital folks are in New York City. They'll have all your video and digital coverage. Hail Varsity Radio Twitter, give that a follow. At H Varsity Radio. Elijah back in studio. Chris Schmdit, as we will circle those parlays. I'm too chicken. I think we pick a couple bowl games for the fourth leg of our Hail Varsity Radio parlay. I think we go Nebraska. I think we go unders. And then we pick a couple other games. So that's the four parts of the parlay.
I'm not betting unders on Nebraska Boston College.
No?
No.
You think it's overs?
46.5?
Maybe a little rain tomorrow? Maybe a little snow? I mean, but I know the weather's going to be in the 50s too, or somewhere there.
I would stay away from the total in that game. There's a couple games I do like the total on.
What do you think about Michigan and Bama? Minus 12.5? Don't care?
I was looking at overs in USC and A&M. 54.
Yeah, that's fair. It'll be a 6-3 game.
I was looking at overs there. I like Colorado minus 3.5 against BYU.
I do too.
How do we feel about Iowa State and Miami?
I think Miami, if they give it, I mean, here's the problem. Miami should roll Iowa State.
But what's their level?
Right. Miami was on the doorstep of a playoff. So was Iowa State as well. But Iowa State faded more. But Miami also faded. So they're kind of mirror images. I just like Miami's talent level a hell of a lot more than Iowa State's. I do like Iowa State's grit more than Miami. And are you going to be shocked? I mean, dude, I wouldn't bet money that Cam Ward's playing. I haven't heard that he's opting out, but why would he play in this bowl game? He's already going to be a first round, probably first or second quarterback taken. Wouldn't you imagine? Why is he playing in this bowl game?
As of earlier today, Cam Ward will play.
You believe that?
It's the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I mean, that means something to some people.
You can still get your s'mores Pop-Tarts or your cherry or your blueberry and stand on the sideline.
But if only the MVP gets to choose the flavor of Pop-Tart that the winning team consumes at the end of the game, and that might be a big factor here for Cam Ward. You never know.
Oh, yeah, because he's not been Pop-Tarted to death this week.
And Big Red Junkies also talks about the importance of draft stock, having a good game like this. I mean, right now it feels like it's between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders to be the first quarterback off.
Shedeur's going to New York, dude.
But Shedeur sounds like wants to go to Vegas. So
that's true.
If Cam Ward can play well enough, do the Giants look at that and say, well, we have a quarterback that either doesn't want to play here or a quarterback that had a good season, played well in the Pop-Tarts Bowl against a pretty good defense in Iowa State? Do we go with him instead? That's another important factor here with Cam Ward.
Yeah, Kobe's on it. Says Cristobal answered why Cam Ward wants to play. He wants to push that draft stock up. So we'll see. Ken hates Pop-Tarts.
What?
A reminder to get buckled up. Use your seatbelt. They save lives. They prevent injury if properly worn. Make it click. A message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Pride of Fairbury, Bill Doleman up next, hour 2 with Hail Varsity.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The best thing about Nebraska winters is planning for the spring. Hi, this is Chris Goforth. Join me and the experts from Earl May every Saturday morning for In the Garden as we help you prepare for the upcoming spring season. In the Garden, Saturday mornings at 8:30 right here on KFOR.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. President-elect Trump asking the Supreme Court to stop the clock on a U.S. TikTok deadline. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has the latest from Washington.
In a friend of the court brief, the president-elect urges the justices to delay the TikTok sale deadline and give him time to, quote, pursue a negotiated resolution that would save the popular app while also addressing national security concerns. Trump's nominee to be Solicitor General, who submitted the filing, says Trump alone possesses the consummate deal-making expertise, the electoral mandate, and the political will to negotiate a resolution to save the platform.
Trump allies Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy facing blowback over what they say is the need to provide visas for skilled tech workers. ABC investigative reporter Olivia Rubin.
Musk and Ramaswamy were advocating for visas that bring in highly skilled workers from abroad to this country. It's something that's mainly utilized by tech companies like X in Silicon Valley. And they sort of got attacked from all sides, even within the MAGA base. There's sort of this one online, very pro-Trump figure attacking Elon Musk for that view, saying it goes against Trump's immigration policies, which of course are looking to deport people, not bring them into the country.
A ninth telecom company was targeted by Chinese hackers. The Biden administration's cybersecurity agency says hackers got access to a limited number of Americans' phone communications.
We believe it was the goal of identifying who those phones belonged to, and if they were, government targets of interest, for follow-on espionage and intelligence collection of communications, of texts and phone calls on those particular phones.
Deputy National Security Advisor Ann Neuberger. U.S. officials saying a Russian anti-aircraft system may be responsible for the plane crash in Kazakhstan, killing 38 people. His family saying through a statement from his longtime employer CBS that sportscaster Greg Gumbel has died after a battle with cancer. He was 78. You're listening to ABC News.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Arrests made following vehicle thefts in Lincoln and Wymore. Hello, I'm Will Wilson. It's 47 degrees at KFOR. The Gage County Sheriff's Office has wrapped up an investigation into a series of vehicle thefts in Wymore and Lincoln earlier this year. On January 6th, deputies responded to reports of a stolen vehicle and an attempted vehicle theft in Wymore during the early morning hours. The stolen vehicle was later found just outside Lincoln in Lancaster County that evening, but it had been crashed and totaled. On January 23rd, deputies assisted Wymore police in recovering a vehicle stolen from Lincoln about a month earlier. Investigators determined that these incidents were connected. Authorities have arrested 2 suspects in this case. Oscar Lundberg, 19 of Lincoln, faces charges including theft by unlawful taking of property valued over $5,000, and 19-year-old Lachlan Hansen of Blue Springs was charged with theft by unlawful taking of property valued over $5,000 as well. A Lincoln man faces charges after police say he burglarized the food processing facility where he worked. In November, management at Universal Pure noticed significant product losses and launched an investigation at their facility near 14th and Nebraska Parkway. Management reviewed security video which showed a pallet of beef product near the entrance of a decommissioned trash compactor. Court documents allege an employee later identified as 57-year-old Ovidio Ramos was seen in the area and messing with the compactor. On December 10th, a dark-colored Ford F-150 arrived at the facility and backed up to the decommissioned compactor. 4 people then got out of the truck and loaded up 38 boxes of beef product totaling $8,000. During the investigation, authorities discovered that the truck used during the burglary belonged to Ramos. On Monday, police pulled Ramos over after he had left work and took him into custody. Governor Jim Pillen underwent a successful rib fixation surgery on Christmas Day at Nebraska Medicine after he was injured in a horse riding accident near Columbus. The 4-hour procedure involved stabilizing Governor Pillen's broken ribs using metal plates to promote stronger long-term healing of the ribs, assist with pain management during the recovery process, and reduce the odds of complications. Mostly cloudy and patchy fog tonight with a low near 30. I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News.
The Kansas City Chiefs continue the march towards Super Bowl 59.
Can they give it off? Kareem Hunt lowers his shoulder and takes a Texan right into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas
City.
Every snap, every play.
Mahomes on the far hash on the pocket, stepping up and trying to squeeze through space on his feet. 10, 5, Mahomes is into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Kansas City Chiefs football is on KFOR.
Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam. Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The following is a paid program. Content is provided by Hurrdat Media and may contain pre-recorded material. KFOR staff. He's the pride of Fairbury, an average Joe. Bill Doleman, the professor.
I had a 6 ACT in 1967. One time I got an A and my grandma beat me for cheating.
Now with Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's Hour 2. It's Hail Varsity Roadshow Friday here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino outside Amerisports Book and Bar. Hope you're well. Chris Schmdit, Elijah Herbel, as cheers by many in the gaming area. Of course, live betting, all good here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, the ESPN Bet Zone. We say hi to the pride of Fairbury, Bill Doleman with us. At Bill Doleman on Twitter. Catch him and the crew Sunday live with the Average Joe Sports Show podcast. Billy D, where are you at? You've been venturing into SEC territory. Missouri plays Iowa coming up. Vandy in a fight right now against Georgia Tech. How are you?
I'm well, and I have no idea where I am right now. So hopefully that pinpoints the exact area of nowhere the best I possibly can. I think I'm somewhere in Arkansas.
Okay. There has not been any banjos playing.
No, we've tried to avoid any type areas like that, and have not seen the cast of Deliverance anywhere close by. So we're so far so good.
Well, Schmdit was just talking, was that earlier this week or last week, about how much he wants to visit Arkansas?
I want to visit a golf course in Arkansas.
It is a natural state, and it can be beautiful in some places. Other places, not so much.
So we had a brief encounter with our dear friend Brian Christopherson, who was trying to do a live hit from a subway, not that kind of hit, but more of a phone interview. And he had to just answer one question, and then the phone tapped out. He is safe and he is sound, and he is in Brooklyn now having some pizza. We have had Rich call in, a native New Yorker, big Red fan, with Subway 101, and that is never ride the last car on the subway, i.e. the party car. Doleman, have you ever rode the subway in New York?
I have, and based on the news that I've seen over the last couple of years, I will never ride the subway in New York again. But kudos to Brian Christopherson for being brave and to doing something like that. It's good to know that he's taking in the sights and eating the pizza of Brooklyn. It's pretty good there. But yeah, I would rather be hanging out in Arkansas with the cast of Deliverance than riding a New York City subway.
That's a hell of a choice.
I know that. Look, I've been on the subway, and look, it's a whole lot different now than it was back in the Giuliani days. Let's just say that.
No, I agree. How different is the Arkansas hillbilly era, though? I mean, is it any different?
Might smell the same, but yeah, it might be a little safer down here.
Well, wasn't there an era where in New York City they had like a team of vigilantes that would go ride the subways and try to keep people safe, and then that ended up like
the Guardian Angels.
Yeah, that was Curtis Lewa's group, and it was also one of the great movies of all time, The Warriors. So that's basically a documentary of the New York subway system.
But then Curtis got sideways with John Gotti.
Yeah, that's
Allegedly.
Yeah, not a good thing.
So let's talk Boston College. Let's talk Nebraska. Ezaraku has opted out. BC's top offensive tackle has opted out. The line here at Bet ESPN or ESPN Bet is 3.5. I see it 4 on the website. We'll get the Pride of Fairbury's prediction here shortly. But, Bill, how you feeling? Nebraska, first and foremost, is it play well or win for you tomorrow?
Both. I think if Nebraska plays well, Nebraska wins. I think it's that simple. Look, this is a place that Nebraska has not been for, and I'm not talking about New York. Nebraska hasn't been in this bowl situation for 8 years. There should be motivation going into this game. And I think we've seen over the course of the last couple of weeks as bowl games have played out, and maybe even some of the first-round college football playoff games have played out, there's just not a lot of interest, with the teams that are there. Some of them have played spirited football. Pittsburgh and Toledo had a spirited game yesterday. The K-State and Rutgers and all that, that was pretty good. But, it just does not seem as though there's been a lot of life in the bowl season. And if you're a team like Nebraska, where football means so much and getting to a bowl game has meant so much, and it's been a focal point for years, you would think that the Huskers would show up tomorrow motivated to play and to play well. They're getting practice time they've not had in forever. And I just think that this is a significant moment for Matt Rule and his program to take a step forward going into the offseason in which Nebraska looks to win its, I believe, 64th consecutive offseason national championship. But if Nebraska goes out, or Boston College goes out and lays a disinterested egg, then I think that really is detrimental to going into the January and February and into spring football. But if Nebraska plays well, if Dylan Raiola plays well and shakes off some of the rustiness we saw toward the second half of the season, I think Nebraska's got a chance to really set the tone for your number 3 for Matt Rule, and a win would go a long way in doing that.
It's Bill Doleman with us here, Hail Varsity Radio, talking Nebraska, Boston College. And Bill, I said last hour that not only on paper is it a game that I think Nebraska should be favored, I think it's a game that Nebraska should roll in just based on what I see on paper. Now, football is not played on paper. I want to get your thoughts on that sentiment there. Am I way off? Do you think that Nebraska should roll? What's your take on just what should happen tomorrow based on your scouting report of these two teams?
Well, one guy that I put a lot on this season in determining how Nebraska's season would go is Ty Robinson, and alongside him, Nash Hutmaker. And those two guys opting to play in the game and wanting and stating that they want to play every play that they possibly can, that ought to be motivation enough for the players around them to want to close this season out well. If you've got guys who are opting out and saying, I don't want to play, that kind of permeates, I think, to the rest of the team when they look around and go, well, it means more to them to get ready for the draft in which they may or may not get picked. When you see stuff like that, I think that there's an influence on how other guys prepare and what their motivation is. But Hutmaker and Robinson have said this is a big deal to us. I think it's pretty cool that Matt Rule is also sending a message and bringing back, last year's seniors. I know that he talked about how expensive it is, but I'm pretty sure he and Julie can afford it. But I think that's a cool thing that, this game means something to the program that he's building. So, yes, I think Nebraska, if they show up with, Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmaker and those guys leading the way and showing the heart that they'll display, I think that's something that is rare in the bowl season these days. So that's one of the reasons why I think Nebraska's got a chance to play well. Also, when you take a look on the other end of it, when you take a look at Nebraska's depth chart and the number of young players who are in the top 2 or 3 units who are going to get a chance to prove something, I think that's also a big deal.
Bill Doleman's with us, Pride of Fairbury, Hail Varsity Radio Roadshow at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, right outside Ameris Sportsbook and Bar. Steve-O has popped by, and he has put heat down on A&M, -2.5, and Nebraska -2 is what it's at right now. Bill, is it a big day for Fedoni? Is it a big day for the running game? 85% chance of rain I've seen on Twitter, so it could be a sloppy Yankee Stadium tomorrow.
Well, I don't think it's a great field anyway. It's really not the kind of field that It's not the kind of field they play on in the summer, that's for sure, when it's manicured to the, to the finest degree. I don't know what to expect from Nebraska's offense, to be honest with you. This is going to be game 4 with Dana Holgorsen. Now he's had several weeks to prepare, to figure out who he wants to utilize. And so if it's a sloppy track, is that going to hurt the ground game, or is that what you have to rely on? Does it hurt to air it out? And then you've got to rely on a short passing game to backs out of the backfield, and to a guy like Fedoni who, tends to get open about 6 yards downfield, and you hope he picks up 6 more. But is it going to be a bowl game where they just say, let's just see what works? And regardless of what the weather, I tend to think that might be the case, that, guys are going to want to audition for Dana Holgorsen. You saw the quote, earlier, was it this week or last, where Ja'Cory Barney said, I'm anxious to see how I fit in Dana Holgorsen's offense. Well, we might see more examples of that in the game tomorrow, because they've had a chance to work together a little bit more than, the rushed game plans that they had in the last 3 games of the regular season. So I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you, but hopefully it's not too sloppy of a track, and that the elements are, somewhat user friendly. But it's not a field that's ever been, for football anyway, nobody's had glowing reviews.
Bill, are you more curious to see what the Dana Holgorsen offense looks like with another 15 practices? Or are you more curious to see what John Butler at the helm of the defense, what the defense is going to look like tomorrow? Which side are you more interested in seeing?
That might be the real question, is what does Nebraska's defense look like? And Addison Williams is there. He's been coaching the secondary, right? So, how does the secondary play now that they've had a new voice in their ear? That might be, really significant as to, the kind of aggressiveness and to see if there's any nuances that emerge with the secondary play. So, yeah, I think maybe the attention should be on, how aggressive Nebraska is defensively, and just continuing to apply pressure and rushing the passer as best they can, and just let it all out, defensively against Boston College.
Bill, we talked about Ty and Polar Bear and their final rodeo. We know that there's going to be some youth in the secondary for Nebraska that we're excited to see. That side of the football. To the other part of Elijah's question, the Dana offense versus the Butler defense. Nebraska wins tomorrow with their defense. Do you think Nebraska went heavy or went heavy enough during these 2 weeks, this build-up? What I mean by heavy is the work on tackling. That's a concern for Matt Rule this season. Nebraska was excellent against Rutgers. They were good except for one play against Iowa. When it comes to tackling, how does Nebraska handle that fundamental part of tomorrow against a team that wants to run and hit you off play action, maybe on a sloppy track? Do you worry about tackling for the Big Red?
Given what happened at Iowa, I think that's got to always be an issue, and it certainly was for the preceding years prior to Matt Rule's arrival. That Nebraska talked a good game when it came to defense and looked good off the bus, but was fairly finesse when it came to, finishing off plays. So if there's been an emphasis of going hard and heavy and hitting in practice and wrapping up, again, this sets the tone for what spring football is going to be like, and who is eventually going to be on, the 105-man roster when next season rolls around. So if you got to have, auditions to find out who your best hitters are, you better find out now, because you got another couple of months where you've got to wait to find out. So I don't have a problem if they treated this as a hard hitting, sure tackling, period of time getting ready for Boston College. Everybody wants to see a team that can tackle and not have that be a question mark going in, no matter if it's a bowl game that nobody cares about or if it's a team going into the college football playoff.
It's Bill Doleman with us here. And Bill, a final question I have regarding Boston College, I want to get your thoughts on it. Is they're experienced in close games this year? I think It was 7 one-score football games they played in this season. If I remember off the top of my head, my research earlier in the week, didn't win all those games, but they're very experienced in the one-score category. Do you have concerns with Nebraska tomorrow if it is a close game on a potentially rainy day in New York City?
No, not at this point in the season. You know, the way I look at it is, I hope that Boston College does score maybe once, and that's it. But at this point, I don't think you worry about one scores and how things are going to play out. You want to get the win. You want to look good. You want to play well, and again, set the tone for what's coming up in the next. You do want to learn how to win a close game. You know, we don't want to see something where you've got a lead going in and you fumble the football late and it ends up being a 55-yard field goal in the sloppy track that wins you that loses you a game. That would be a bad way to close out the season. So I don't look at their experience in one-score games as being much of a factor.
Quickly, just to make a correction here, 5 one-score games, but 7 were within 10 points. Let's make sure I'm accurate with my stats.
No, you're good. Bill, give me a prediction here. What happens tomorrow, Nebraska, BC?
85-6. I think Nebraska probably covers.
Yeah, that would constitute a cover.
Yeah, you'd have to sweat it just a bit.
Yeah. So Nebraska scores 85 unanswered. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I might have to come from behind. I could see a long field goal to start, and then Boston College does kick a field goal in the last second of the game. But in the meantime, Nebraska comes from behind and then holds off Boston College late. That's exactly how it's going to play out.
Bill Doleman is hammering the over. Bill Doleman is
he's hammered.
Laying the points and says Nebraska by 79 tomorrow. I like it. Pride of Fairbury, enjoy your foray into SEC country. And we will check in with you on Sunday morning at 10:30 with the Average Joes.
Yeah, remind Elijah of that.
Oh, wow. There he goes. Pride of Fairbury, Bill Doleman. Bill, thank you, bud.
See you later. Bye.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Hurrdat Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Childcare providers know that little kids are a big responsibility, and you work hard to do your best for the families who depend on you. But help may be available. If you own or work at a childcare program, you may be eligible for Nebraska's School Readiness Tax Credit. Find out if you or your program qualify, because in the work you do for our youngest kids, every dollar counts. Learn more at schoolreadinesstaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This Christmas, Santa's shouting, oh, 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 because Jet Splash number 8 is now open off West O, just a mile west of downtown Lincoln. Swing through during our jaw-dropping holiday sale and save sleigh loads of dough on memberships and more. Visit Jet Splash off West O today.
John Henry's is providing 0% interest with equal monthly payments, plus
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Big thanks for hanging out. It's hour 2. It's Hail Varsity here. We're on the road at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino right outside Amerisports, ESPN Bet. Chris Schmdit, Elijah Herbel. We say hi to Jacob Padilla with Hail Varsity and Hurrdat Sports at Jacob Padilla _ Jacob, awesome coverage this year with Husker Volleyball all over hoops, football, you name it. High school basketball scene is just up Jacob's alley. He's great at it. Jacob, good to spend some time. Thanks for giving us a few minutes. How's your Friday, man?
Doing all right. Just coming off the high school basketball moratorium, and today's the first day back at it. So I just been out at Ashland Greenwood all day, just watching some hoops.
That's good to hear, as you are all over it Tuesday through most weekends with the high school basketball scene. I want to start with some football before we get to some hoops. And as you've kept an eye on Nebraska football these 2 weeks leading up to the bowl game, what's your gut say about tomorrow with Nebraska Boston College, concerns and confidences with kickoff at 11 tomorrow?
Yeah, I know Nebraska obviously is going to be without some guys that have played important roles throughout the season, but it certainly seems like they're on the better end of that in terms of guys who are going to play versus who are not in this game. And I think Nebraska, they've been waiting for this for a long time. So if they come out flat, don't have a good performance, I think that would be pretty disappointing. It would almost be worse than not making it all if you come out and just kind of fall on your face against a team that is also shorthanded. So we'll see what they've been, the work they've been putting in. It'll be interesting to see some of the younger guys get a little bit more run, and like how the coaches choose to kind of run their rotation, and how many guys they choose to play. And obviously they're going to go into this looking to win, coaching to win, but you also have other goals in mind in a game like this. So I'm just excited. I'll have it up on the phone. I'm going to be stuck all day out at the Bellevue West Metro Holiday Tournament tomorrow, but looking forward to throwing it up on the phone and following along as best as I can.
Jacob, do you have more questions about Nebraska's offense with Dana Holgorsen or the defense with John Butler? It's 2 new coordinators. We got to see a bit of Holgorsen. They both have 15 practices to install what they want. Which side of the ball do you have more questions about?
Probably defense, just because we have seen a little bit of the offense and got some new guys coming in, obviously, that'll continue to kind of transform that defensively. I mean, they've already lost some key pieces, so that adjustment is happening immediately on defense. We're gonna see some of the guys that are gonna be key parts of the defense next year in this bowl game, with Robbie Van Poppel coming out of the 4-game red shirt and a chance to get back out there. You'll have him out there, and Cam Leonard playing more of a feature role with Jamari Butler gone and things like that. So I think we'll probably learn a little bit more about the defense just because of the state of that side of the ball compared to offensively. Like, you still got your offensive line, you're still intact for the most part. You've got kind of the core guys on offense. Obviously Nayer's out, but you know, the guys that have been playing on that side of the ball, kind of the key features. You won't have Dowdell, but you will have Emmett Johnson and some of the younger backs. So I think probably the defense is more of a wild card just because of some of the new faces you got to plug in on that side and it being the first game without Tony White. But every game is a step forward for that offense with Holgorsen continuing to experiment and with Dylan Raiola continuing to get comfortable in the system.
Jacob Padilla is with us. Hail Varsity and Hurrdat Sports at Jacob Padilla _ on Twitter is where you follow him. Jacob, you envision, and I know the track could be messy tomorrow. Run game will be at a premium and priority for both teams, you'd think, unless Dana says, forget about it. Let's just let it roll, run, throw the football. But you believe he'll want to establish the run game. What's your take on Jalen Lloyd tomorrow? More emergence. You look at someone trying to fill that Nair void. And Jalen's a guy that's been a big play threat when they've gone to him in his career here. Could he have a big-time breakout in the bowl game?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, will Raiola be able to connect with him on a deep shot? We've seen that be a struggle for him so far this season. Just hasn't been able to kind of put that on the money for a lot of the season. Miss some chances to hit guys down onto the field, and we haven't seen as many of those big plays from Lloyd over the last 2/3 of the season or so. Obviously, we know we averaged like 40 yards a catch or whatever it was last year, and still a healthy average this year. And they've incorporated him a little bit more on some of the gadget stuff, some of the more in between underneath stuff. But I think to have a big game, he's going to have to go rip off a deep shot, and that's going to be on the offensive line to protect Raiola, give him a chance to really step in and put that throw on the money, because we haven't really seen a ton of that so far this season.
Jacob Padilla with us here, talking Nebraska, Boston College, battling it out in the Bronx tomorrow morning. And Jacob, as you look ahead to the future of this football program, what guys are you looking forward to watching tomorrow? They're going to be a big piece of this program in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, I already mentioned Van Poppel and Lenhart. Those are two guys that they were really high on last year, and still this year. Like, those guys have chosen to, even though they didn't maybe play as big of a role as maybe they would have liked this year, those are guys that chose to stick around and kind of see the vision that the coaches have for them. And this would be a really nice start to what needs to be a breakout year for the defense to be what it can be next year. You got to have those guys. Obviously, the newcomers you landing out of the portal will help and will step in, but to continue to be in this kind of era of football, you really have, all college sports really, it starts with the guys that you're able to retain and develop. That's got to be the core of your team, and then you can go out and add the transfers that kind of fill in the holes and push you over the top. If you're kind of going out and recruiting all new starters every year in and year out, that's going to be a rough way to live. I think we've already seen some of that where it can work short term, but it's hard to hit on those guys every single year. So it's got to start with the guys that you were high on from the start, that you developed, that have been in your program, that are committed to you. And I think Lenhart and Van Poppel are two guys that could be that for this defense, could kind of help form the base of this defense as you add the new pieces in. And then we'll see. It's a little early to know like which of the other young guys, like those ones, I think you feel good about their roles both in this game and moving forward. I'm excited to see kind of who else they do throw into that mix, though, because that will kind of give us a hint of, all right, who are the guys that they really see a bright future for, guys that they made it a priority to get significant snaps in this game, because again, they want to win this. They're not just throwing everybody out there to make sure everybody can play. Like, if you're going to play this game, they want to see what you got, and they believe that you maybe have the potential to help this team as soon as next year. So I think probably have some more names coming out of it, but defensively, those are kind of two at the forefront of my mind. And then offensively, we mentioned Jalen Lloyd. Like, can he kind of take advantage of Nair being out and having this time to prepare and all these practice reps, because obviously they're bringing in some new pass catchers next year, both with the freshmen and the transfer portal. So this is kind of his chance to kind of say, hey, don't forget about me. I can really help this team. So hopefully I think it would be really good for the program if he comes out and has a good showing as well.
Jacob, I want to get your take on kind of that Miami / Florida core. with Shavers and Amari Sanders and of course Ja'Cory Barney and McGahee the fourth. Nebraska's kind of doubled down in the recruiting world as well with some of their additions to their coaching staff. Do you anticipate Nebraska continuing to have recruiting success in Florida, or do you think it's contingent on how some of these Florida guys continue to develop and play?
Yeah, I think it's always contingent on that. Like, the word of mouth is huge in the recruiting world. And if guys see, like, this is a place that they can come and have success and enjoy their time and have people that they trust, that they know of, like bringing Phil Simpson back to kind of solidify that pipeline a little bit there, in addition to all those young guys and giving them a chance to get on the field early and show their potential. And now those guys are locked in. They're feeling good together. They're having fun. And they have a chance to, again, be part of that core moving forward that the team is built around. So, like, that's big. Like, if they all next year, if none of those guys really take a step forward and it kind of doesn't go the way they hope, and maybe guys choose to transfer out at the end of the year or whatever, then that's certainly going to hurt you in that regard. So it's all dependent on how guys do, what you continue to kind of put out there to the world. Like, your results are your advertisement to future recruits. And it starts with the wins and losses and the on-field production. And then if you kind of track guys that way, then they start to hear from the guys that they know. It's like, all right, what's it like here? Is this a place where it's fun to be a part of and good place to live and all that type of stuff? So it starts with the production, and then you can kind of start to have the guys do the peer recruiting and all that to keep that pipeline flowing.
Jacob, last thought before we get you out. We haven't talked to you since volleyball in the Final Four. Just quickly, off-season primer, if you will. What storylines are you following for Husker volleyball as we enter the off-season?
Yeah, I think the biggest storylines there are, one, do they go to the portal or do they go all in on this core they've got coming back? Obviously, it's a really talented team. They've got some really talented newcomers coming in already. You kind of look at that opposite hitter spot, losing Merritt Beeson. Ryan Hunter's really talented freshman coming off an ACL tear, and she's been cleared, so she'll be able to go through the spring, train with the team and everything. So plenty of time to get up to speed, but that's still tough to miss an entire year and then immediately be back to full strength. So that's a position. Do they add a talented player out of the portal at that spot to kind of buy her time? Or do they feel confident in Hunter being ready to play right away? Or do they convert one of the other pins to playing on the right side? Obviously, we saw that with Lindsey Krause and Whitney Lonstein when they first came in. They both played on that side of the ball. And Nebraska's got some options there on that side because they are a little deep at pins. You can only play two on the left side, and they've got more than two talented players. So that is an avenue that they could explore. So I think that's the biggest question, is kind of what do they do with that right side spot to replace Merritt Beeson, and kind of all the whatever the fallout is from that. So that's the main storyline. And then the second one is just kind of how do they build off of what they did this year? How do they find a way to kind of push through and get over the hump? Because we've seen that they can get to the end there, but other teams have found a way to dig a little bit deeper and to make the big plays in the clutch. And Nebraska wasn't able to do that last year, and they weren't able to do that this year. So that's the next step for this team. We know they're good enough. You feel good about them being good enough to get back to that same spot next year with everything they bring back. I mean, they'll be a top 1, 2, 3 team in the country next year with the amount of talent on their roster. It's just a matter of, all right, can they finally punch through? Can these sophomores now going in their junior year elevate their games to the next level and be able to carry the team in those big moments?
Jacob will holler again next week. Appreciate you as always, man. Thank you much.
Yep. Talk to you guys later.
Wars coverage of high school basketball is off for the holiday break, but we'll be back to action on January 2nd with the Lincoln Northeast boys playing Lincoln East, with coverage starting at 7:05 right here.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
David Brooks here, inviting you to join me this Saturday morning at 7 for the Retire Smart Radio Show, where I'll provide you answers to your retirement questions and help you navigate the uncertain financial times. Don't just retire, retire smart. Join me Saturday morning at 7.
Smart Wealth LLC is a federally registered investment advisor under the Investment Advisors Act of 1940 and an affiliate of Retire Smart. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Information about Smart Wealth LLC can be found by visiting advisorinfo.sec.gov and searching by the advisor's name.
For eligible individuals 18 and older with self-perceived mild to moderate hearing loss only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
Life without hearing aids can be frustrating.
Andy, did you hear what she just said?
No, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
I said I got the promotion, Dad. I thought you would be excited.
You're missing out on the important moments of your life because you just can't hear them. It's time to try the Jabra Enhanced Select 500, our smallest, most advanced hearing aid. With proprietary speech clarity technology, even the most complex listening situations like a noisy restaurant are crisp and clear. And you can get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional care you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. Get Jabra Enhance over-the-counter hearing aids and stop missing the important moments. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/radio. That's JABRA Enhance.com/radio. JabraEnhance.com/radio.
When you choose new flooring, you don't want to wait for weeks or months to enjoy it. You want it installed right away. Hi, Steve Carper from O Street Carpet. We hear stories every day about long waits and installation charges way higher than necessary. When you choose O Street Carpet, we'll measure free, install right away, and at a much better price. Stop in, shop now. Proud to be Lincoln's choice for nearly 50 years.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street and ostreetcarpet.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again? Stomach issues? Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Rolling through a Friday here. It's Hail Varsity Radio. We're powered by Hurrdat Sports. Chris Schmdit sitting back down in front of the computer screen. We've got Clausborne on the phone lines ready to rock and roll for the Friday forecast. Schmdit, we turn it back over to you. The boat is yours.
I had to haul. I am sorry. Nature calling. Yeah. So he's imaginary. He wears red, and Clausborne is with us. Claus, how we doing? We're on the doorstep of another year. What's the good word?
Well, I'm doing okay. I hope you and Elijah and your listener had a wonderful holiday season. And I was going to ask if you really had to hit the head or if you had to go collect on that accidental Navy to cover bet you made earlier today.
Well, I did collect earlier before the show some outstanding receipts, and it's going to help pay for the mother of all ribeyes later tonight. That's going to be the part of the plan. We may have to throw some of it towards.
Know your favorite.
Go ahead.
Didn't even know Bonanza was still open.
The salad bar, Claus. The salad bar. Elijah, should we get to it? All right, forecast time, and we'll dive in. USC A&M -3. The Fighting Trevs. Now, our friend Steve got A&M at -2.5. Either way, I am going Texas A&M tonight. Give me the Aggies 34 and SC 21. Give me Texas A&M. I'll lay the points, and I'll go with the Fighting Trevs over Lincoln and company tonight, Elijah.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to keep this one off the parlay. Something deep down within me is telling me USC is going to win this one outright. I don't know why. I said earlier it's because the SEC is overrated, the Big Ten's underrated. I don't know how true that actually is, but I don't know. Something deep down is telling me USC is going to pull this one out. So give me USC to win this football game at 31-28.
Claus, what say you, SC or A&M?
Well, these are two schools that are very easy to make fun of, but I won't do that. That would be some real little brother energy. Fight Texas Aggie. We're not going to make any jokes about poking holes in the Trojans. Fight Texas Aggie. We're going to go out to Las Vegas. It won't be a gamble. Fight Texas Aggie. A&M wins 28-24.
Okay. Iowa State, Miami. Canes -4. Their stud quarterback, Cam Ward, going to keep going. Iowa State looked great. So did Miami for a while. They both faded. Iowa State dismantled in the Big 12 title game. Miami didn't even get there. Give me the Canes for some reason over Iowa State. I'll take the Canes 41 and the Cyclones 31. 10-point win for the U. What do you say, Elijah?
I got this one being a tight, high-scoring football game. I think Iowa State might have more want to based on the way they lost in the Big 12 championship game, a chance to redeem themselves. What's the want to level of Miami? I don't know. They didn't make the playoff. That could affect things tomorrow. So I think it's going to be a close ball game. I think Miami's talent prevails. Cam Ward, your MVP. Miami wins it by a final score of 31-28, a win, but a cover for Iowa State. And that is the exact same score as I had for USC A&M. I think it's going to be a popular score on this weekend.
Claus, where you going, the U or Ames?
It's the Cyclones against the Hurricanes. And I haven't seen a weather-related battle this exciting since Bill Ranby, Jim Flowers, and Ken Shimmick had to shut down their underground fight club. I think it's going to be... I'm telling you, when Bill Ranby rolls up those sleeves, you better watch out. Listen, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game as well. I think Miami will probably play with their food a little bit like they've done all year, but ultimately they win 38 and Iowa State 31.
Okay, so Claus is going with the U, the Jim Walden Bowl. Away we go. Now to the Alamo, Colorado. BYU, the Buffs -3.5. You've got all the Buff stars that are heavily insured. BYU, they are talented. They are physical. Colorado, a little more finesse, but I like the high flying. I love Prime, and I love Colorado in this spot. Let me lay the points and take the Buffs. And I think it's to the tune of 35-28 touchdown win for Coach Prime. Elijah.
Yeah, I got CU winning this game. Too much offense, too much CU. BYU's offense has been great. What happens when you're going up against that Colorado offense? Not too sure, but I'll take the Heisman Trophy winner. I'll take Colorado 34-21.
Okay. Okay, you like him by a lot then. Claus, what say you here? Colorado or BYU?
Well, I shudder to think of saying this, but I like Colorado in this one. I think BYU is going to be confused by all the glitz and glamour that comes along with the Buffaloes. You've got a quarterback who's all iced out, a receiver and defensive back with more hardware than a Home Depot. Meanwhile, for a BYU student, the most exciting thing they'll see is Dr. Pepper coming out with the new flavor. So I'm going to take Colorado in this one, 35, and BYU 24.
Missouri and Iowa -3 Tigers. I'm going to go Iowa here. I'm going to go Iowa, and somehow, well, hold on, dialing that back because old Caleb is opted out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, give me Missouri then. Give me Missouri at a low score, 21-17, the win and cover by the Tigers. What do you say, Elijah?
This one is really tough for me to predict upon. I think I got to roll with Iowa. The concern is that Nebraska was their Super Bowl, and now you got a want-to level that is low following a disappointing season. I still think Iowa wins this football game. Give me the Hawkeyes 17, Missouri 14.
Okay, Claus, real quick, what do you got, Missouri or Iowa?
Well, first of all, it sounds like I need to send you and Elijah a copy of Clausborne's pronunciation guide. It is Missouri. Please get it right. We're trying to teach the children.
Thank you, Klaus. Sorry.
But ultimately, if it's black and gold, I dislike it, so I'm rooting for a meteor. But if I have to bet, I'll take Missouri 28 and Iowa 17.
You'll take who?
Missouri.
Okay. Missouri.
You've got in my head.
Claus, hang tight. We'll get our Nebraska-Boston College pick, and we'll just cross over here to the ESPN Bet Ameris Sports Book and Bar. Get ready for Nebraska-Boston College tomorrow, 11 o'clock kick. The weekend edition of Hail Varsity gets going at 7:45 tomorrow morning. Hail Varsity YouTube. Claus, hang tight, okay?
Okay.
Are you having the holiday horrors trying to figure out the perfect gift for everyone on your list? So many people, so few ideas. It's terrifying. But guess what? I have the perfect gift you can give everyone. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. That's right, hands-free Skechers slip-ins. They're the perfect gift for a mother, for a father, grandma, grandpa, for the kids, for a friend, for a coworker. And for your boss, you hope he gives you that big holiday bonus. For everybody. Because Skechers slip-ins don't cost a ton of money. They last a long time and people will appreciate them forever. Every time they slip your gift on, they will smile. And why are they smiling? Because with Skechers slip-ins, they'll never have to touch their shoes again. Just step into them and they're on. With no bending down, no retying the laces, and you are good to go. And they're so easy to give. No more wandering the store, no more scrolling online wondering what to get people. Give the newest thing, the most convenient change in footwear that's ever been. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Find Skechers slip-ins for the holidays at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Another year of KFOR's Operation Santa Claus is finished, and it wouldn't have been possible without your generosity. Thanks to your support, we brought the magic of Christmas to less fortunate children in Lincoln. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our partners who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make it all happen. Local social service agencies for gathering the children's wishes. Hobbytown, Lincoln Children's Museum, and Shields for their help with toy shopping. Target, not only for assisting in shopping, but also for donating the sacks we use to organize the toys. The Clay Smith family for providing the North Pole facility to store and sort the toys. Brent Stellick of Bryant, Cott & Associates PCCPAs for managing Operation Santa finances. And most importantly, a very special thank you to the Nebraska National Guard volunteers for their incredible effort in sorting and distributing the toys. And finally, to everyone who donated, you.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time, Hail Varsity Road Show here at Ameristar, Council Bluffs Casino, Ameris Sportsbook. Appreciate y'all giving us the input in the stream. Hail Varsity YouTube channel back tomorrow. Not back here. That'd be kind of cool if we were, but we're a weekend edition at 7:45. Let's get back into the forecast on Nebraska Boston College prediction. As he's imaginary, he wears red. The infamous Clausborne with us for the Friday forecast. And I'm going to jump into the pool first. And the line right now on Nebraska and Boston College -2. It's floated between 4, 3.5, and 2. We'll set it for the people at 3.5. And I think Nebraska gets that handled. I think Nebraska wins outright. I think enough offense to make you feel good. Couple of busts here and there. It's going to be a muddy track. And I think Nebraska will lean on the ground game with just enough Dana sprinkled in. 28-17. Nebraska the win and the cover. A big day for Ramir Johnson playing in front of his dudes from Harlem. Ty Robinson also goes out with a bang. That's what I say. That's what I see. Elijah, what do you see?
Yeah, I trust Emmett Ramir in the ground game. You saw it over the last 2 games of this season. Dana Holgerson seemed to have a better feel for keeping that rushing attack in rhythm. I think we see more of that. I think we see a couple big plays through the air. I think a couple weeks for Raiola to be fully healthy is big. He at times took a bit of a beating. It's great that for Nebraska that Boston College does not have Ezerike, the dominant edge rusher. That's going to be good things for Nebraska. I think the ground game is consistent. I think Nebraska hits a couple big plays, and I think the defense is able to slow down that Boston College rushing attack. Give me Nebraska to roll in this one, or pretty close to it. 31-17, the Huskers win.
Okay, we're about on the same page. Claus, you have the final say, Big Cat. What say you, Nebraska or Boston College? Huskers -3.5.
Well, Christopher, it's been a while since you and I have talked about it, but I know at one time, many, many years ago, you fancied yourself as something of a Red Sox fan. And of course, I'm in doubt about that now that I saw those photos of your lovely family in terrible clothing going down to Kansas City to watch baseball in the fall. But is there still a small part of you that feels a little gross rooting for a team from Boston to lose in Yankee Stadium?
There's a big part of me that makes me feel gross, but different sport, I can deal.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you still had a soul. Anyhow, I agree with both of you. I think Nebraska's ground game is going to be the difference. Of course, that's unless we get hit with the injury bug in the backfield and we have to play with our Johnsons out. So I think I'll take Nebraska in this one, 28, and Boston College 13.
Claus with the winner, 28-13. Huskers over the Eagles.
Keep those Johnsons in, right?
Wow. It's an old...
Keep those Johnsons in and held tight.
I think Pavelka had a comment about one of the Peter brothers in Boulder. Anywho, yes. Claus, behave. We'll talk in the new year. Thank you much.
Okay.
There he goes. Imaginary, he wears red. Clausborne with the forecast. Back at you tomorrow. Thanks.